Hudson Media Collective presents Hero, A Villain's Origin. Written and narrated by Cameron R. Hudson. To my dad. There's no other dad like you in the world. I'm proud to be your son. Part 1. Restraint. Chapter 1. Exiled. My father, Eric, is a good man. Some call him a hero. I have to convince myself that I'm fighting to be a good man too. That this is what it takes to be a hero. A fireball hurtles toward me. I roll, narrowly dodging as the heat opens my pores. No time to breathe. I throw out my hand, a telekinetic force slamming my attacker into the wall. My chest tight, lungs burn. I ignite my own fire. Sweat drips, sizzling against the flames curling around my fingers. The room is nothing but darkness, the four black walls pressing in, swallowing the dim glow of my fire. The dim blue lights and now my blaze isn't enough to hold back the shadows. I can't see who's coming next. A figure appears, their gun aimed at my head. I throw a blast of fire to impair them. Two silhouettes to my sides blur toward me, each step faster than the last. Bolts. I cut my flames to launch into the air. One day, I'll be able to use both flight and pyrokinesis simultaneously. But not today. I land on top of one bolt with a punch, taking them out of the fight. The other tackles me to the ground. My attacker unleashes punches to my stomach, each hit driving me to the cold, hard concrete below. Yet their fists are not as strong or as fast as their super speed legs. A bolt is better off kicking. The first hit knocks the air from my lungs, but after a few, I grab their fist. Utilizing my brute strength, I throw them off of me like a rag doll. I catch my breath for only a second before four more figures surround me. The fight never stops, just like this war. Fighting people like this helps forge a better future. If the people who exiled us want predators dead, we have to fight back. Or so my father would say. Being cornered, I instinctually focus a surge of energy to knock each backward. The instant after my telekinetic push, I stir up my own energy. My coarse, scaly legs vibrate as I start to jog forward, activating my own bolt super speed. Nearby, two of my attackers disappear into a spiraling indigo warp as everything slows for my bolt perception of time. A figure reaches out with telekinesis, while the bolt enemy I threw rushes back at me. They both move sluggishly as my perception slows. I jab the bolt in the jaw. Even without ample strength, it still knocks them off balance, and they slowly fall to the ground. I slide into the legs of the telekinetic, leaving them gently falling in the air. While the two bodies float lazily to the ground, I bolt over to the remaining figure, slowing down my speed enough to use my strength to hit them with multiple punches to their chest. Their body resists. They must have super strength. Brutes are the worst. Shh. Slowly cuts through the room. A portal behind me. An unforgettable sound that reminds me of ripping paper or the ocean. A violent wave crashing, then collapsing on itself until silence again fills the space. A figure whips out of the warp. I am too late to react. A bolt barrels through with another slowly emerging behind. The other bolt now fully recovers from my jab to the jaw and tries punching me. I duck the first attack, but the second sends me stumbling backward, causing me to lose my focus on speed and sending me out of my slow motion time. I smack into the cement wall, the impact reverberating through my bones. The telekinetic tumbles to the ground from being swept off his feet. The brute gets knocked back into the opposite wall, but quickly recovers from the blows I hit. I push from the wall, forcing air in and out of my lungs as my heart threatens to explode. I don't know how much longer I can keep up this strength. The bolt rushes over and slams me back into the wall. The crack of my head against the hard surface echoes through the room. Their forearm crushes my throat, and black spots threaten my vision and fight to encase me in more darkness as my air is forced from my lungs. The spots grow larger and darker while my body starts to relax, but my brain screams to stay awake and fight. The teleporter lands from his portal and pulls out a gun, while the other 4 slowly shake off my blows. The wooziness and lack of oxygen are making it impossible to focus. My enemies prepare to end this fight. The spots take my vision, and I'm 13 again, looking into my father's eyes. Tears burned in my own. My father averted his gaze, unable to face the pain he caused me. I clutched my stomach where he landed a kick. My back ached from where it broke the wall. All for the sake of training. I just wanted to be a kid.
"Get up,"
he said.
"All that power within you can't give up. You must be strong."
I blink and I'm back in the shadowy room. My brain fights to stay awake. My chest burns. My power won't cooperate if I can't focus. The bolt pushes harder on my neck, making the bit of air I try to sneak in rush out again, and the spots in my vision become more intense. All I can do is use my strength on one punch. My strike smashes the bolt in the stomach. The other bolt gathers speed as I gasp for air. I make 2 portals in front of me that they run through, sending them on either side of the teleporter and creating a bolt teleporter sandwich. I knock away the gun before they can fire it, leaving them all motionless on the ground. My limbs grow weak, but I have to keep pushing. The brute and telekinetic are to my left. I push with all of my mental strength, but it is met by a block. The telekinetic and I are in a match of pure mental strength, our forces pushing us both back. If I try to attack the brute, the telekinetic's ability will overpower me. I strain my ability. The brute strides toward me, preparing for a finishing blow. I need a plan. Even that small thought lessens my strength. My opponent's force pushing me to the wall. I have one idea. This is gonna hurt. The brute quickens his pace, winding up for a strike. Before it connects, I break the concentration between the telekinetic and me and open a portal right in front of the 2 of us. The brute goes through it. He appears next to the telekinetic. The blow that is meant for me strikes the other figure, knocking him out. But not before his wave of energy washes over me, slamming me harshly to the cement wall. I force my body into one more attack. I fly over to the last figure, acting as a bullet. The impact sends them flying, out for the count.
"Was I good enough?"
I shout, finally able to breathe. A click comes from behind my head. A gun. It explodes as the bullet leaves its chamber. Even at super speed, I can't stop it. Even with all 8 Predator abilities, I'm dead. Lucky for me, this was just another day of training.
Never underestimate your enemy.
My father emerges from the shadows, his presence looming over me with a weight of intimidation. Eric. Bright lights turn on, and the shadowy figures dissolve. Small black orbs that create the simulated figures move to the corners of the cement walls, courtesy of Eric's raids for military-grade equipment.
"You're too slow. You'll never win if you can't even beat a training exercise.
That's ridiculous. I've been training since I can remember, and I get better every single day. I'm ready, I plead to him, rubbing the back of my head. The simulated bullet hit like a powerful bee sting.
This battle I'm fighting is not a simulation. We are fighting the same government that exiled our people. The racist, murdering, ruthless government. You weren't alive during the dark times, the first generation of predators. You're different than the rest of us. With all those powers, you have to be ruthless. If not, you'll die, and there will be no hope left.
He pauses. For a moment, I think he might say something sentimental, but he continues.
And you don't even want to kill the simulations. You could have easily ended the teleporter by turning the gun around and pulling the trigger.
Well, I wouldn't like it if somebody killed me, so why would I do it to them? I interrupt. I can't help but joke. He gives me that serious stare. I've never known my father to joke around when it comes to training. It's always, "You're holding back, son. You have to be better, son. Stop holding back." I'm getting sick of it. Look, I won't kill. Not a simulation and definitely not a person. I know they're terrible people. They're always trying to attack us, but I won't cross that line. I couldn't come back from killing someone.
They kill us, son.
His voice echoes through the training space. He straightens his back in his rigid fatherly way. It sends a chill down my spine as he lets his words sink in.
Eliminating a threat permanently could save countless lives. We have to kill them if we want things to change.
His words stab his point in further. His rich brown skin contrasts with his white shirt and black athletic pants. Eric continues.
What I do, what we can do, is for a better future. Those who attack first have control, and control is...
We can change things without stooping to their level, I murmur in disagreement. People that think like you are why there were dark times. There's strength in showing mercy. I can beat our enemies my way.
Oh, yeah?
Eric chuckles.
You have no idea what needs to be done. You think you can handle a real opponent?
He squares off to me. A smile lurks on his lips as he sizes me up.
Go on. Hit me.
He tilts his head.
For real.
My jaw tightens. Is he giving me a free shot outside of sparring? When we spar, he does so with open palms. Now his hands clench into fists, tight enough that I can almost feel the power he is holding back. His feet are planted like tree trunks, his face tightening into his overly serious stare. I instinctually take a step back. In response, that lurking smile sneaks its way onto his face. I plant myself like him. This is a chance to show him he can't keep pushing me around. I can't back down now.
I can tell you want to. Just do it. Show me your power,
Eric mocks. Squeezing my hand into a fist, I wind up and swing at his face. His telekinesis bats me away. I'm almost knocked off balance by his force.
Come on, you can do better than that. Hit me,
he taunts. Resentment fueling my power, I shove him back. Eric slides backward on his heels, otherwise unfazed. I lift into the air, closing the distance with my fist raised, putting all my power into this attack. I aim for his chest. Coming down hard on him, my knuckles make an impact. My wrist crumples. Like I hit a brick wall or a tree, but worse because with my telekinetic force I put behind my punch, I would have put a hole in that wall or tree. I grab my wrist, biting back a scream from the sudden shock of pain.
Holding back like that will get you killed if you face a real threat. You still have much to learn, son. Power is the only thing that can truly influence the world. You have so much of it, but it's wasted.
Enough of this power talk. Pain brings out anger. He always says I'm holding back even when I'm pushing my limits, even when I'm using all of my strength. He knows that I can't use all of my powers at once, but he still taunts me with this idea of there being so much more power inside of me than what I let show. We live in a world where the three most powerful predator types are exiled and looked down on, so our power means nothing.
This world wants us to believe we are helpless, but that's not even close to the truth.
My father puts a hand on my shoulder, either to assert some control or comfort me, possibly both.
Just one of our kin is stronger than all of the other predator abilities combined. I just showed you that.
Yet we're still exiled. We still have to live away from everyone else because of what happened to Diego. I push his grip away. That is why we need people to be better than killers. Show some real power by being heroes.
You can't get anywhere by playing hero. People in this world use heroes for their own gain. If you do not show your own dominance, your own power, then you get chewed up.
Eric catches himself before his temper rises. He sucks in a deep breath and rubs the bridge of his nose. He releases his annoyance with the breath.
I'm not going to keep having this discussion with you, son.
I shudder at the word.
Your class's recognition is soon. You will get your task, and then you will start to see how this world is, and why I've trained you like this for all these years.
He turns around, dismissing me with a wave of his hand. I brush off what he says and start to build my speed to take off. I bolt past him without another word. I zip out of the underground training room we use attached to Eric's work shed, running just slow enough that my enhanced bolt perception keeps my surroundings from blurring. I run down Main Street. The last thing my dad said gave me a sliver of hope. Maybe I'll get the assignment I want with recognition and finally see a little bit more of this world. I run right to my best friend's shop. Well, his parents' shop, and the only kind of working store in our sanctuary. The front of their building has worn-down words reading, "Out of this world," and underneath a crude banner with the word, "Exchange," in bold letters. The exchange gets everything from trades with the other exiled, so it's really more like, "Out of this town." What we call sanctuary is the city of Mendocino, California, where the telekinetics settled. We call each other kin. I open the exchange's door, a bell signifying my entrance. The vaulted ceilings are a dingy white color, faded from a decade of desperately needing a fresh coat of paint. The shelves and tables holding the items that have been repaired over the years by handy builder kin. There are cans of food found from outskirt cities by the traders, as well as books, clothes, and anything useful they could collectively carry telekinetically. One wall is covered by a grocery store fridge, something my father supplied from a raid to keep perishables cold. The shop is more empty than usual, especially with the weekly stock coming in today. A plain sheet covers the back walls where construction is taking place. The owner's podium is in the back overlooking it all. Chris sits with his legs up, reading a comic, his presence holding a quiet determination. He looks up at the sound of the door. "Kaz, you done training for today already?" Chris asks. I zip up to him without going fast enough to knock cans and bottles from shelves. On his desk sits the list of kin in the town and what items they trade or barter for. They offer acts of cleaning, farming, building, or other services to the sanctuary in return for clothes, food, or the occasional book for entertainment. This is the best us kin could come up with for currency. Get anything interesting from the traders today? I ask, hopeful for something to distract from my father's harsh outlook. Actually, yeah. Chris jumps down from his seat and removes a piece of paper folded in between his comic book pages. A torn map. There was this. Finally, a more updated map of the states. He tells me he found the main place the traders go to. We know the exiled are spread out about 400 miles up and down America's west coast. And there's this big old city called San Francisco. It has tall buildings and a bay. And I'm thinking this is where our traders go. Chris's blue eyes widens as he points out the areas he mentions. I overheard my parents talk about a trade portal, so they must have a teleporter in the city. We will know for ourselves soon enough. I let out a breath of anticipation. I've been waiting for recognition since I was little and learned that traders are the ones that get to leave the sanctuary and visit the other exiled. I just hope my father being the administrator of recognition doesn't change my assignment. You are obviously getting trader. Your grades are good, and you have shown Edith and Jim you can fight. Your dad is the sanctuary's leader, and Edith is his right hand. Eric will put you on the best assignment. You're his son. I wince at the word. Chris doesn't notice. Plus, there's only builder, farmer, and trader. You have the grades and the athletic ability to defend and negotiate as a trader. Chris says defend and negotiate with a deep voice, imitating Eric's stern tone. It prompts a small smile for me. My father has only prepared me for the war against the government, not to help this sanctuary and the other exiled survive in some resemblance of a society, to help people. I want to be a hero like the ones us kin hear rumors about across the world, from Diego's time. But I guess winning Eric's war could mean acceptance in the East. Fighting back is how heroes help people, right? Come on, Chris exclaims, distracting me. The builders finally finished renovations, so the rest of the exchange can be stocked. Chris leads me to the plain sheet on the far walls and pulls it back. The exchange's building walls have been torn down, making the structure partially open. A brick path lies at my feet, and bushes, flowers, and greenery line the perimeter of the space, giving it a small park square feel. Now the houses around the edges of the square are hollowed out with additions to create exchange fronts. A small building on the left is missing a wall, showing a wide table and space for clothing items inside. Some builderkin litter the space, floating materials and tools around to finish the construction. A long, sturdy piece of wood needs 3 telekinetics to lift it. I could do it alone with all of my training. Most of the things the builders create are from the abundant supply of bare trees around Mendocino. The bark is forever damaged from wildfires that ravage the west coast because of global warming. Some of the old houses in this town are just foundations because of the fires, and us kin never rebuilt those when we became the sanctuary. I can see it now, I say, walking around the indoor-outdoor space. Some other people from the sanctuary start to come in to see the new exchange. You'd put the clothing exchange in that little house. I point to the left, where the builderkin have already started floating clothes into. Then you could have this middle section for food and crops we get. The cold stuff will stay in the original exchange building. Supplies and other necessities can be over here. Then, in the back on that wall, I point straight ahead, toward a small house that hasn't been hollowed yet. We can have an entertainment section. I have the perfect thing to add. Chris opens a box as the contents begin to fly out with his mind. He reveals a rolled-up poster, and he lets it unroll. A poster of Diego Scott. The former president's face is plastered on the poster. He looks similar to me except for his eyes. A tan skin tone, dark hair, and piercing green eyes. Below his face, the poster depicts a handshake. One hand presumably human, and the other Diego's, indicated by his signature chrome bracelet he always wore, which became a symbol of unity. At the bottom it reads, "We can all be heroes," with stylized symbols of all the different predator types in small circles. An outstretched hand with fingers extended for the kin, telekinetics. A flexing bicep for the brutes, super strength. A lit flame for the pyros, pyrokinetics. A pair of coarse scaly legs for the bolts, super speed. A single eye for the precogs, precognition. An oval with a silhouette walking through for the warps, teleportation. A silhouette floating with their arms straightened above them for the flyers, flight. A realistic-looking brain for the paths, telepaths. "You've been holding out on me? Where did you get this?" I study the poster. This must have been a promotion for him to be reelected. Diego Scott was the first Preterhuman president, not to mention the only person ever to be born with multiple abilities, let alone all of them, before me. Diego exuded peace. Seeing that I have his abilities, I always think I'm supposed to bring everyone back together like he tried to do. Maybe recognition will be the first step toward that. Just found it today with some of the books and magazines, but you can have it. Consider it part of your early birthday gift. It's mid-afternoon. By this time on Saturdays, people start to see what they can trade for the week before everything good is gone. Chris looks around at the slowly filling space before bringing his voice down. "Plus, you and Diego are more similar than people think." He gives an obvious wink. Some kids I recognize from school are now at the exchange. They look over to Chris and me, hiding their laughs. I roll up the poster and put it in my pocket. To the kids at school, I'm just some loner who spends all of his time with his dad. If they only knew the power I have. "Come on, don't worry about them." Chris leads toward an exit onto the street. Though, while still in earshot of the kids, Chris shouts, "High school gossip has no effect on the great Casimir and Chris." I push him out of the break between a wall and bush onto the street. "What? I was just telling you that you're awesome, and I'm awesome. You think they heard, Kaz?" We laugh together, walking toward our houses along Main Street with the rocky coast on our right side. Along the coast, some of the farmerkin are tilling the ground. The equipment floats along while the farmers stand concentrating, plowing for the next round of seeds or planting or whatever they do. Some kin fish along the rocks. On our left, the sanctuary contradicts the lively feeling of the coast. With short buildings in dreary colors, it gives the town a sleepy feel. I don't want to end up dreary and bland like this sanctuary. I love our kin, but I couldn't be a farmer growing crops or a builder fixing or making houses. I need to see the world. A trader is the closest thing. I could go to the other exiled, maybe this San Francisco, and see other predators. Learn about what happens on the East Coast or the rest of the world. We could go anywhere we wanted now, but Eric strongly suggests not to. Says that the military government is just waiting to find where we've settled and wipe us all out. I just can't wait for a change. I complain to Chris about this frequently, and he supports the idea of traveling however we can. Things are going to get better. Who knows? Maybe in a couple years we'll find a way to rejoin the country. Chris pats my shoulder. I heard some people at the exchange talking about the progressiveness of the trade city, but I'm not sure what they mean. We are about to be 18, and the fact that the adults don't tell the kids where the exiled are just doesn't make sense, I say. Maybe it's for our own good. I give him an exhausted look, but Chris continues. I mean, I know you tell me how harsh your dad is, but maybe he's protecting you. Protecting me from what? I let out a huff. Geez, you sound just like him. I'm on your side here. I'm just saying, we are the first kids to grow up here. Your dad and our parents' generation of kin built this sanctuary from the ground up. I think they are doing the best they can. Our system isn't perfect, but it's the best we've done since Diego Scott was killed in 2108 by some of the Big Three, the same year I was born. Since then, those three predator types were deemed dangerous by the government and were forced to stay or relocate to the West Coast. Telekinetics, pyrokinetics, and telepathics. Talk about a small group of people giving the rest of their kind a bad reputation. The West Coast is cut off from gas, food, and other things people used to not think twice about, like electricity. Somehow the cars here were disabled with some long-term EMP that affected the vehicle's engines. Luckily, the exiled were able to get some sort of dam system for electricity and farming for food. Like I said, I agree with you, man. I can't wait until we can forge our own path. Chris knows me well enough to know how I'm thinking. But from the stories I've heard, even in 2108, before Diego died, things were going downhill. Maybe your dad's war with these people will help. You know me, I don't like fighting, but if the military is as bad as we think, fighting could help change the system. Changing the broken system. That's what heroes do too, right? Fighting could help, but then I'd have to lean into agreeing with my father. His pushing and prodding for his son to be better, more powerful. Maybe my power can help everyone. I let out as we walk up to my home. Similar to all of the other houses in the sanctuary, it's a tan 2-story building with burned woods in the backyard along with Eric's shed. It's what Diego did. Chris reinforces my thought. Or you could become a trader just to run the exchange. Chris turns from me, gesturing as if this is some grand idea. Show the sanctuary some real power. He laughs. If I got trader just to run your parents' shop, I laugh with Chris, I'd be... My front door swings open, and Eric stands in the doorway, still in his t-shirt and always menacing. Something is seriously wrong just looking at my father's eyes. The military hit one of our groups, Eric states, and killed some of the exiled.